We've got breaking news out of college hoops where Iowa has fired head coach Fran McCaffery after 15 seasons with the Hawkeyes. That is the latest from our John Rothstein. McCaffery has been the head coach at Iowa for 15 seasons, is the school's all-time wins leader. He led the Hawkeyes to the NCAA tournament 6 times during his tenure in Iowa City, but was unable to make it past the round of 32. Iowa's season ended with a loss to Illinois in the Big Ten tournament on Thursday, a game which he was ejected from late in the second half. Matt Norlander joining us with his breaking news. Iowa firing their head coach Fran McCaffery after 15 seasons with the Hawkeyes. Your instant reaction to that news?
Well, my instant reaction is yes. I have sources firing on my phone as we are doing this in real time here. Jenny, thanks for having me on. This was the expected outcome for a while here. Fran McCaffery had been public about his desire to return, his belief that it would happen, but athletic director Beth Gates needs to try and fire up the fan base there. Iowa had suffered some real low attendance this season, some of its lowest in a long time, and McCaffery did some really good stuff. I mean, he had Luka Garza, National Player of the Year, you know, Chris and Keegan Murray, even Peyton Sandford. Like, he had developed some really great players, had some good offenses, but never made the Sweet 16. He's the winningest coach, I believe, in school history, but in a time where, you know, schools and fan bases are trying to build up their basketball programs to invigorate with more NIL resources, to get reasons to rally a fan base. McCaffery was there for 15 seasons. It was a really good run in the big picture, but this is going to be a second straight missed NCAA tournament for the Hawkeyes. And so now Iowa will look to be on the move, and to be on the move quickly. We've got a number of jobs here that are already open. Your Virginias, your NC States that are still on the hunt to fill those vacancies, and now Iowa joins that group. And it will not be the last. We are going to have more here in the coming hours.
So do you feel like this is a situation where we're just going to have to take a step back, see what other openings unfold, and then almost mix and match to see who's going to end up where?
Well, yes and no. See, what's interesting here is that Ben McCollum is the coach at Drake. They're going to the NCAA tournament. Drake has not played a game in 5 days at this point. He is very much involved at Indiana, is one of the primary targets for the Hoosiers. But can Iowa get in there and be and make its pitch to McCollum? He wouldn't be the only coach, certainly would not be the only coach. I think that they are going to try and make a call. I had a source tell me on Thursday that West Virginia coach Darren DeVries, who has Iowa ties, is at the top, if not the very top name on Iowa's list as well. We'll see if he's willing to leave West Virginia. He just got there a year ago. West Virginia is pacing, we believe, to be in the NCAA tournament. Mountaineers have a bubble-ish resume, but we're expecting to see their name revealed on Selection Sunday. In addition to other names, Mississippi State's Chris Jans, I think, could be a name that they look at. Brian Wardle at Bradley, who got to the title game in the Missouri Valley against Drake, in addition to some others. So Iowa's going to get out there, try and see what kind of candidate it can lure. But I do believe that Ben McCollum and Darren DeVries are the two top names for the impending vacancy with the Hawkeyes. It's an intriguing job, you know, making calls to a variety of sources on the Iowa stuff in the weeks leading up to this, Jenny, because unfortunately, and fair or not, it was expected that it would come open. Big Ten is now an 18-school conference, and Iowa is just not viewed by most people in college basketball circles as a top 10 job in the Big Ten now as it's constituted. It's not at the bottom 4, bottom 5, but it's in that kind of second tier, maybe near the lower end of it. You need to rally fan support in a big way. Get a coach in there that can bring about a new era, new culture, and hopefully do something that we haven't seen since 1999, and that's make the Sweet 16. That's the last time this program was in the second weekend of the Big Dance.
As we mentioned, he led the Hawkeyes to the NCAA tournament 6 times during his tenure in Iowa City, unable to make it past the round of 32. And this is just yesterday at the Big Ten tournament. He was ejected from the second half. Do you think this is just emotions bubbling over about his impending future, Matt?
I don't want to try and burrow too deep into Fran McCaffery's head there. He was obviously frustrated. You're trying in the moment to coach to beat Illinois, to get into the NCAA tournament with the automatic bid. We have seen Fran McCaffery way worse than that. Maybe it was poetically perfect that in what was ultimately the last Big Ten game he'll have coached for Iowa that it led to that. But yeah, listen, an emotional game, and the guy's still, you know, 65 years old. You know, I'm told that he still has a desire really to coach and remain in this. So we'll see what emerges there for him after this. But But yeah, it's the first move today. I don't think it will be the last. It definitely will not be the last this weekend at the Power Conference level. But now Iowa is the next on the board, and that is now the 21st job that has changed over in this year's men's college basketball cycle.
So as you mentioned, there's going to be a lot of changeover coming up. Is there a spot right now? You just mentioned McCaffery, only 65 years old. He's had success. Is there a spot where you could see him fitting in at this moment, knowing that things are going to change?
You know what? I'm not, Jenny, actually, in all honesty, I'm not quite sure. Like, if there's, the Penn job is open, would he want to go? And would Penn even put him near the top of the list? I know they're looking heavily at Robert Morris's Andy Toole, who is an alum there, and he's going to have Robert Morris in the NCAA tournament. I don't know. McCaffery's done a really good job for a very long time, and he's at a point in his career where he's made a lot of money. If he wants to choose to continue to coach, be it an assistant or as a head coach, he might have those opportunities. But if he wanted to step away and retire, no one would fault him for that either. So we wait and see on what comes next for him as Iowa hits a big stage of transition here on Friday.
Matt Norlander with this breaking news out of college hoops. Matt, thank you so much. Iowa firing their head coach, Fran McCaffery, after 15 seasons with the Hawkeyes. For more on this, and you better believe it'll be talked about, the Eye on College Basketball, scan that QR code wherever you take in your favorite podcasts. Take a listen today for all of the latest.